Hi and welcome. I'm Sarah, and this is the Haven Within. Gentle space to slow down, feel, and come home to yourself. Lately, I've been noticing a theme showing up in many of my conversations, in the stories my clients share, conversation with friends, and it's anger. Not the kind that explodes outward, but the kind that builds quietly inside. The kind we don't always notice until we are overwhelmed, exhausted, or snapping over something small. You know what I have discovered? For many women, it's so hard to see how anger could ever be a friend. But it is. It really is a friend in disguise. But before we dive in, let's pause. Let's take a breath together. Just breathe in, pause for a moment, and breathe out slowly, gently, mindfully. Let yourself arrive. Let yourself land here, land within. When I was a child, anger felt like the monster under my bed, something to fear. And even as an adult, seeing someone angry or saying, I'm angry, made my body remember being a child, frozen, alert, scared of the next explosion. As a child, I became a scanner, reading the faces around me, listening to the tone of voice, looking at the movements, always trying to prevent what felt inevitable. Over time, anger became something I tried to avoid at all cost, not just in others, but in myself. It didn't feel safe. And it wasn't just about my family. Growing up in the 80s, I don't remember being taught that anger had a place, especially not for girls. We were expected to be sweet, pleasant, nice, good girls, and I was. I smiled, I helped, I made things easier, still a recovering people pleaser. But here is what I didn't learn, that anger is not the enemy. Anger is a sign, a messenger, a boundary keeper. When I began my healing journey, I started to realize how much of my anxiety, my overgiving, my saying yes when I meant no, was tied to the repression of my anger. Because that was the problem. I was trying to become more assertive, to stand up for myself. But every time frustration would rise, I felt guilt, shame, and I would swallow it until eventually I snapped, often over something small, because I had no room left inside to hold it. And then the shame would come back, and my perfectionist would take over with the familiar voice saying, I should have known better. I should have been better. So I'd smile more, stay calm, be nice, be available. Don't you see the cycle? I was trapped in a loop, not because I felt too much anger, but because I didn't know how to listen to it. And for a while, it got worse. After a lifetime of being kind and flexible, welcoming anger back into my life meant meeting all that frustration and short temper that had never had a voice. I had to learn how to let anger serve me instead of take over me. The transition from people pleasing to healthy boundaries wasn't smooth. It was quite messy actually. Anger and frustration kept showing up at every corner. But my anger, when I listened to it gently, with curiosity, became a doorway. When I sat with it, when I started noticing the sign in my body whispering, "This is too much," and I stopped waiting for the roar of my overwhelm, I realized anger was my ally. We were always allies. Now, now anger feels like a quiet fire at the edge of my inner world. It's the part of me that says, that is enough. It's time to go. I need space now. It looks after me like a friend, like a guardian. Let's talk about how anger may show up in your body and mind so you can start to recognize it before it becomes overwhelming. I feel like tightness in your jaw or around your mouth, clenching of or your teeth, your voice sounding sharp or tense, hands getting tight, feeling like you need to act fast, like your body wants to push something away. But it can also show up in your thoughts, raising loops like, "Oh, this isn't fair," or, "Oh, why? Why this is happening again? Why now?" Feeling disrespected or unseen, like, "Oh, they have no idea everything I'm doing around here. They just don't see me." Replaying old moments when your boundaries were crossed, like scene that keep repeating in your mind. Thoughts like, "I always have to do everything myself," or "they never listen." That urgent voice inside saying, "Oh, if I don't speak up now, I will explode." That is anger too. And it's here to deliver a message, to tell you something about what is going on or what your nervous system thinks is going on. It's a red flag and it needs attention, not judgment. When I notice that tightness in my mouth, I take it as a sign, a soft red flag. If I can, I pause. I place a hand on my heart and I ask, is this about now? Or is it an old echo? What are you protecting me from? What is the message here? That pause, just a moment, helps me come back to myself. The first step was to stop seeing anger as something to get rid of and start seeing it as fire. Fire can warm or destroy. It can create light or chaos. It all depends on how we tend it. Sometimes I write letters from my emotion. I let anger speak. I ask it, what do you want? What are you guarding? What do you need? And when I really listen, I see the story behind my frustration. And while it is always true for my anger, it's not always real because sometimes anger sees a threat where there is just a misunderstanding or an old fear. But underneath, there is always the same intention to protect what matters, to protect me. And listening to it becomes a way to understand myself better. Before we close today, let's take a moment to check in with the body. Is there tension in your jaw? Are your hands tight? Is there a part of you that is calling for attention? If there is tension, and if it feels good, shake it off a little. Move your hands, roll your shoulders, shake it, shake it, shake it. Let your body exhale some of what it's been holding. And maybe whisper gently, I'm allowed to feel. I am allowed to have boundaries. I am allowed to protect my peace. Thank you for being here. I hope to see you next week. And as always, may you become your own safe space. Bye for now.